Our next speaker is Jen Kuehl. Jen serves as the Director of Compensation and Benefits for Merits in St. Louis, Missouri. In her role, she provides strategic oversight and direction for Merit's corporate-wide benefits and compensation departments. Jen's background includes various roles in HR, compensation, and benefits, totaling over 20 years of experience in the field. She holds a bachelor's degree in human resource management, an MBA from the University of Missouri St. Louis, and is a certified compensation specialist through World at Work. So Jen, thank you for joining us today.
Good morning. Thank you, Pam, so much. Had to get my video going there, so thank you. So this morning, I would like to talk to you a little bit about Merit's journey with navigating employees to high-value care and how we've educated employees, incented them, and really this has driven Merit's to have better outcomes and lower our medical costs. Merit's is a 125-year-old company. We are focused on helping other companies really enable and motivate their employees. And at the center of all that is people, right? So we're a very people-focused organization. And obviously benefits play a big role in that and making sure employees are getting the value that they deserve out of their benefits and at the right cost and at a high quality. Next slide, please. So if we kind of start back at the beginning of our journey, so Merit's had two challenges really we were trying to address at that time. And so it really was, a rising healthcare cost and just the difference in the cost and quality we were seeing. So in our medical plan spend, we were seeing, year over year increases, which isn't unusual, right? Healthcare goes up every year, but just the sheer variance between procedures that were being done. Many employees don't realize that wide range of costs for something like an MRI or a knee replacement. They also don't realize that they have options and that just because their doctor recommends maybe they go to one facility, that they don't have to visit that facility. They can go somewhere else, right? And so, the other thing we found is that employees maybe didn't realize that just because a hospital is really well known for maybe heart surgery, that doesn't mean that they're the best equipped to handle a knee replacement. And so really just that challenge of knowing where to go for what the costs are, and is it good quality care? I think in recent years, many employers and benefit plans have done a really good job at steering employees away from things that are obviously high cost, such as emergency rooms and emergency departments. I think in my own neighborhood, I can speak to the number of urgent care clinics that have popped up, right? And so in that area, I think there's been a real steerage to better low cost care. But there's a lot of opportunities still that we were seeing. Next slide, please. So the solution. So at Merit's, we partnered with Healthcare Blue Book and really came up with a solution to provide an educational tool with real data where employees could be equipped to make really good choices about quality care at the right price point and leading them to better outcomes overall. Next slide. So, when you talk about shopping for consumer goods or, anything in your day-to-day life, most of us are very familiar with that, right? And it's very easy to navigate and we know what to do. And so I'll share just a quick personal story. I decided around Christmas time that I was ready to jump on the bandwagon and I wanted an air fryer, right? So all my friends have an air fryer. Everyone's talking about an air fryer. And so I decide I want one. So what's the first thing I do? I talk to people. I go out, I Google air fryers, I look at the different models, I compare the costs, I go to Walmart, I go to Target, I go to Amazon, I look at the reviews. All that data is really right there at my fingertips, right? And I can pretty quickly go, I want this model, this is the right price to pay. it's going to cook my food the way I want, and the outcome's going to be good, right? That comes naturally to most of us, but it's really funny when you then ask someone, well, how do you go about deciding where you're going to have a procedure done? It doesn't seem to come that natural. I go where my doctor tells me to. And so, we really, we needed to change that behavior. And so we've done a lot of work to put this tool into place that really is, a collection of data with information, and it helps employees navigate that really complex healthcare system to know where they can go, what the outcomes might be, and what the cost would be. And so that was really the first step of this solution, is how to navigate that system. And then, that's not quite enough, right? Because we all know you can give employees a lot of education and a lot of tools, but one of the challenges is getting them to use it. And so what we found is that we had to sweeten the deal a little bit, right? In itself, maybe saving money for those procedures should possibly be enough of an incentive, but it might not be, right? So we want to really build some excitement around that and get employees out there and be engaged in that process. And so we decided to incent employees who use that navigational tool to find that, best facility, best cost, best quality outcome, and incentivize them for that. And so, we found that through this solution, it was really quite eye-opening to people, and they did become more engaged, and were able to really compare one doctor to another, and maybe this facility is good at one thing but not so great at another. And we found that just putting that in front of them regularly, consistently, we even did some things to add some games to that. If you go out on the tool and you search for a procedure and compare some costs, we kind of made that into a game with prizes. And so, that was really how we approached the solution to this problem. You can go to the next slide, please. And so, I want to talk about our outcomes a little bit, right? Because on the surface, it sounds great, but again, how do you get people to use it? And do you really see that ROI? And the short answer is yes, we did. So our utilization for people really engaging and looking for those lower cost, high quality procedures and shopping for them, our utilization was 21% in our most recent reporting period. And then in terms of a return on investment, we saw 2.6 to 1. So that was fantastic. And the annual savings came out to be right at about $142,000. So really, really good results there that we were very happy with. Next slide. So while we do consider how we approach this problem and our solution to this very successful, we still have work to do. And this is unfortunately one of those areas where it's not a one and done, right? So it really takes continuous education, continuous reminders, and really just putting it in front of people. We find that people might hear the message, but then when, they need to act on it and it's their turn to shop for a procedure, right, they might not remember. And so there's still a lot of dollars left on the table within our plan that we could claim and share those savings with employees. And so, there's definitely more we can continue to do, and, continue to get employees on board with this, usage of the solutions. So ongoing, we do education. We can clearly see when we do campaigns around this that our utilization numbers will go up significantly that week. We try to do something at least twice a year in terms of like a game or some kind of fun excitement around it to kind of increase awareness. But then we're also doing, emails every so often to employees, and really trying to just keep it front and center so that when they have the need, they remember. So it's really important, when we rolled this out to it's like I said, it's not a one and done, you've rolled it out and now you're done. You really have to make it become more integrated in employees' everyday thinking around how to shop for healthcare. So, some takeaways really, I think the engagement rewards were really key. Employees like that we're sharing in the savings with them. They think that's cool, and that it's a mutually beneficial type of arrangement, that they're shopping for the best care and that they get some of that money back as well. And then just really having that, a real strategic communication plan in place to keep this in front of employees, and continually teach them that there are options out there, there are choices. And it's certainly never always about the lowest cost. We've been very clear about that. It's really about the right cost with high quality, to really drive better outcomes for the employee. And that is what I was here to share with all of you today. So I will turn it back over to Pam.